She's not happy. She's not thinking. She takes a big old bite, and all the gods, I imagine, stand around and go, "Oh, Demeter, spit it out!" So let's talk about this guy Tantalus. He made the worst dinner ever. Oh my goodness. Tantalus pessimum cenam fecit. He made the worst dinner ever. So Tantalus was a very wealthy king. He was one of the first mortals, and he lived and walked alongside the Olympian gods. The problem is, he tested them. He really pushed their patience beyond imagination. He gossiped way too much to all the other humans about what the gods were doing, what they were planning. He stole divine ambrosia and gave it to humans. I mean, what more could this guy possibly do to irritate the gods? Well, he also wanted to test them. He wanted to know, do they really know everything? How do you test the gods? Find out, do they really know everything? Ego sapiensum Dei omnia sciunt. I'm wise. I'm wise. Dei omnia sciunt. Do the gods know everything? Well, he comes up with a lovely plan to test that. He invites all the Olympians to this fabulous dinner. He creates a beautiful party and a dinner, a feast to honor them. Iele filium sum, Pelops, interfecit, et corpus in magna mensa deorum passuit. Okay, so the gods come around to eat and party, but most of them think, oh, this smells a little funny. I'm not sure we should, and boom, Demeter takes a big bite. Well, Demeter wasn't really thinking. She wasn't really her true self. She'd just gone through this very tragic, traumatic to her incident where her daughter Persephone was taken by Hades to become his wife. She's not happy. She's not thinking. She takes a big old bite, and all the gods, I imagine, stand around and go, "Oh, Demeter, spit it out!" Because Tantalus, his son, ille filium sum, my own son, his own son, Pelops, he'd killed his own son, interfecit. Et corpus in magna mensa, and his body, posuit, he'd put in magna mensa, on a big table, deorum, for the gods. So in essence, the gods are eating people's stew. Well, they didn't eat it. One did. So deid stadium intellexerunt, Jupiter iratissimus factus est. The gods intellexerunt, understood it statum immediately. Jupiter factus est was iratissimus. Very angry. Very angry. So yeah, they knew. They knew exactly what he'd done. He was so very angry that he punished Tantalus by tossing him into Tartarus. And we hear from Odysseus himself in Homer. And if you can't read Greek, we'll have a look at the English translation from the Penguin Classics. Here where he says, I also saw the awful agonies that Tantalus has to bear when he journeyed, when Odysseus journeyed down to Hades, to the Underworld. The old man was standing in a pool of water which nearly reached his chin, and his thirst drove him to unceasing efforts. But he could never reach the water to drink it, for whenever he stooped in his eagerness to drink, it disappeared. The pool was swallowed up, and all there at his feet was the dark earth, which some mysterious power had drained dry. Trees spread their foliage high over the pool and dangled fruits above his head, pear trees and pomegranates, apple trees with their glossy burden, sweet figs and luxuriant olives. But whenever the old man made to grasp them in his hands, the wind would toss them up toward the shadowy clouds, and Tantalus was never able to eat or drink. Of course, that's where we get the word tantalize. So now what happened to Pelops? Pelops' son, we know he chopped him up, made him into people stew. But the gods felt really bad that this had happened to Pelops. He didn't do anything wrong yet. So they wanted to put him back together. They put him all back together, only he's missing part of his shoulder where Demeter took a bite. So they just replaced that with ivory. He's all put back together and he's sent off to live his life. Pelops went off to become a great Greek hero in his own right. He is, of course, the namesake of the entire Peloponnesus, the southern Greek peninsula. And it hasn't hurt that he was nice to look at. So we're told. What happens to every great Greek hero, except maybe Achilles, and he had his girl. He finds this beautiful girl, Hippodamia, this princess of Pisa. The problem is her daddy, Oenomaus, the king of Pisa and the son of Ares, he's in love with his own daughter. A little weird, to say the least. So he does everything he can to ensure that no one can marry her. He sets it up so that there's this massive horse race anytime a suitor comes to seek her hand. And Pelops shows up and says, Salve rex onomai, ego sum Pelops, ego amo Hippodamia. Ego kertamen peto. So, hello, King Oenomaus. I'm Pelops. I love Hippodamia. I am seeking the contest. So, young, naive Pelops is ready to race King Oenomaus. But let's make no mistake, everybody cheats in this contest. Pelops finds this man named Myrtilus, who is the son of Hermes. He maintains all the chariots for the king and for everybody. So now he also loved Hippodamia, and he made a promise to Pelops. Hey, look, I'll make it so that the king can't win this race, but I get to spend an evening with Hippodamia before she runs off to marry you. Myrtilus, he says, Bene, sed post certamen tu me adiuabis. But, great, yes, wonderful, but after the contest, will you help me? And of course, Pelops agrees. So there's this race, this violent race of chariots, and Myrtilus has replaced the pin, put wax in place of the pin that goes straight in here through the wheel, so that as the race went on, the heat that built up melted that wax and the wheel flew off, killed King Eunomaus violently, even though he had been given the fastest horses from Ares. He couldn't beat this. This destroyed him. So Pelops wins. He gets the girl. But there was this promise. Pelops decides, meh, I don't want to let Myrtilus spend an evening wining and dining my bride-to-be. Pelops Myrtilum in mare jacet. Myrtilus exclamet et maledici. So Pelops throws Myrtilus into the sea, and as Myrtilus goes down, he shouts out a curse on Pelops. But Pelops, he builds a shrine to Hermes in order to appease the god, doesn't really work out. We end up moving forward with some interesting tales that come next when we start to talk about the house of Atreus and yet another fabulous people pie feast. So come back, check that out next week. Also check out the lesson that I'm going to post along with this. If you'd like to get the bundles or any of the free resources that go along with this, go ahead and visit the website, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you later. Gratias tibiago et vale.